Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Breadcrumbs of Inspiration. Today, I'm going to share the power of vulnerability. Now, you may be thinking, what does this have to do with inspiration, with the theme, I guess, if you want to say there's any themes to this show? Well, I heard a quote. To share your weakness is to make yourself vulnerable. To make yourself vulnerable is to show your strength. Chrissy Jamie. There may be some people who initially hear that and don't agree. And I've been one of those people most of my life. And maybe it can be a little bit harder for a man to let his walls down that he holds so high to protect the innocent child in him. But I think women can relate to this as well, because when our hearts are hurt and when our souls are hurt, when our egos are hurt, we don't want to share our vulnerability because it can be perceived as a weakness. And I would say that's probably been me my entire life, in all honesty, to where I felt like I had to be perfect for somebody else, as if I couldn't be flawed, as every human is, as if I had to show up a certain way that was different from my essence, making me feel so not myself. And letting that stack up for years on end, you start to lose yourself and you actually forget your essence. And the beauty of having some type of practice in a partner and friends is that when you can have people listen to you, the real you, but you can show up for yourself and let those walls down, let those guards down, and let people into your heart, there is something so extremely powerful about it. And I wanted to talk about this topic because, and this relates to both men and women, but I'm a man. When we go about our lives not talking about our emotions, not talking about our biggest fears, holding up some type of facade, some image that really isn't who we are, but it's a projection of who we want people to think we are. You become detached from your own soul. And I am now stepping into the role of helping people change their lives and sharing information that has absolutely impacted me on the deepest levels possible. But I can't do that to my greatest potential and authenticness if I'm not keeping it 100% real with the people consuming what it is I share. So I want to be vulnerable on this podcast. I want to be vulnerable about the fact that I didn't put out my episode 2 weeks ago because I didn't think it was delivered in the best way. And that's because of an insecurity inside of me, trying to be something that's perfect, trying to make sure the information is articulated in a way where it will resonate. And that's so far from the truth. That's my ego. That's my own insecurities shining through, thinking that I'm not good enough. So I didn't put it out and I held back. And I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to perfect your craft and continuously get better. But if you can't realize in the moment that you're enough, then you're a disservice to everybody around you. And for almost all of my life, my own pain that I kept locked up inside of me because of my fear of what I thought other people will think of me held me back from experiencing the beauty I have in my soul to share. And you have this too. But the gateway to your greatness is that vulnerability, is the opportunity to put out a message from your own truth, the essence of your being. Yes, some people will judge it, but the right ones will feel it. Your tribe, your family, your friends, your associates, your fellow human beings will feel that from you. And they will resonate because you just became relatable. And you just realized, wow, I have flaws, and so does that person. I like them. That's real. That's rare in today's day and age. And actually, the name for this podcast was not originally supposed to be Breadcrumbs of Inspiration. It was actually supposed to be Real is Rare, but I changed it. And maybe it's time for me to be more real so people can feel it on a deeper level. And in doing that, I will be honest that a lot of my life I have struggled with this perfectionism, and it really manifests in a lot of different ways in my life that actually hold me back. It's also made me very great at certain things, like mastering a skill set and having that kind of like growth mindset to continuously make it better. It served me in many ways, but it won't serve me here in doing what this podcast is meant to do. So I just wanted to open up and maybe be an inspiration for you to open up with the people around you in your life and realize that the pain that's so lodged away where it blinds us, and we build these walls and we actually start to believe that we're the walls. But that's the ego trying to protect you from letting go of those walls and melting and being seen for all that you are. And the right people will love you just for that. And I think part of the reason why we live in such an interesting society nowadays is because everyone's scared to be critiqued. Everyone's scared to be criticized. Everyone's scared to share what they really think, share how they really feel for multiple different reasons. I think everybody has their own reasons for that, but we have to put the guards down. That's how we heal. There's a quote, I don't know who it's by, but it says, heal so you can see the truth in all situations. And what does that mean? For me, and for you, and for everybody, we go through different traumas and experiences in our life that literally change the way we look at the world because our brain chemistry completely shifts. We get locked in patterns. And the trauma, in a sense, puts a lens over the truth of what's happening. Because I say it all the time, we don't see reality as it is, we see it as we are. So heal so that you can see the truth and show up as the beautiful being that you are, and so that you can love greater. And love's so powerful with another person because so many try to love from a painful place and they never get to really experience how deep love with another human can be. And I was that person because I was so scared to get hurt. But when you make the commitment to heal and that you're not scared to look at your own shit and say, sometimes I get intimidated by my own power. Sometimes I get intimidated about what I think someone thinks of me. Sometimes I don't want to show my emotions because I've been programmed to believe that's a weakness. And you have all these stories running, but you can look at them and say, I'm making strides here. I'm willing to see this. It unlocks something in us that is so profound that I cannot find the right words for it. It brings a lightness to our eyes and a joyfulness to our being, because we're all just big kids on the inside. We're just these little children who want to know that they're loved for who they are. And I think as a man, the divine masculine, part of the reason I'm here is to help my brothers remember this. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a fucking strength. When your woman can see that you're willing to be vulnerable and not hold back and express and share and show up as the imperfect human you are, they will trust you more, subconsciously and consciously. They will fall deeper into you because they believe you can protect them. And I'm sure any woman listening to this right now would tell you this is very attractive, because men don't, well, a lot of men don't operate from this place because we've been programmed with so much bullshit. But I'm here to be the example for you. And I'm here to, again, help you remember and heal and plant a seed so that you can experience more of what life's about. It doesn't need to be so fearful and driven by these fight or flight emotions of trying to become something, trying to reach success at all cost, even if it means hurting people. But really what you're doing is hurting yourself. And I've done that more times than not. And I'm not proud of it, but I'm willing to own it and get better each time. And that's what I want you to do. Own it. Own it in who you are. And you will gain so much respect from your loved ones, because you will show up differently, because you are now on what I call the healing journey. And it's so powerful because this will influence every single area of your life, including business, which I think is so beautiful because all of reality blends together as one. There's not one or the other that's less important. To me, they're equally important. We need to learn how to master them all. And when we heal ourselves, we heal others. And I really think for both men and women, it is such a responsibility to start sharing from a place of wholeness, to start showing up in a greater way for the fellow human beings around us, so that we can have a ripple effect of goodness across this planet, because it needs that so much right now. And this message that I'm sharing with you today has come from my own pain, my own traumas through my life. I've had things done to me that I didn't even know were possible. But in that, I am willing to see there's still layers of healing to go, but I'm also willing to see the grace and the beauty of that pain. Because if I lead with the vulnerability of, I'm not perfect, I'm still working on myself every single day, it gives you permission to show up as the beautiful being you are. And it allows you to not judge yourself, because we live in, again, this world where everybody seems to be perfect. Everybody seems to have it all figured out. It's all BS. I've worked and met some of the most well-known spiritual leaders on the planet who make you believe they have it all figured out. I'm here to tell you, they're humans. And the moment we put someone on a pedestal is the moment we begin to lose ourselves. We have to look at each other as guides, not as kings or queens. Everybody is teaching everybody. Nobody has it all figured out. I received beauty from people who were looked at as nothing in this society. I want you to hear this. I want you to take this in. It's so important. And I'm so passionate about this topic. And I went through an experience recently where I just started to believe my walls were me. Started to believe I was my ego, which is really just trying to protect me because it's a little scared child who wants to make sure he's loved, as is yours. And when I let the guards down, and there's a moment you have to decide to let them down around those you trust, you get pierced with light, with a feeling that you can't quite put words to. But it's a level of wholeness that is already locked away inside of you. You just have to do the work to get back there. And when I say the work, that's showing up as who you are. I'm not saying don't strive for greatness and strive to be better. That's beautiful. I do that too. But along the way, don't do that to be noticed for something in your own significance. But do it because you want to show up better for those you really love, not so that you can feel better about yourself. It'll come naturally with more confidence, with more of a pep in your step. But do it from a place of love, of power. Because again, when you heal yourself, you can heal others. And if you're a man listening, if you're not in a relationship, and if you are in a relationship, the woman you're with needs to know you can hold space for her. You can show up for her. And the way you will show her that isn't by being this rough and tough man. It's actually the opposite. Showing up with vulnerability to admit you don't have it all figured out. And having that emotional awareness inside of you to where she can start to become aware that, wow, it's safe to express how I feel. It's safe to share. It's safe to be. He's got me. He's got us. And vice versa for the woman. If you can lead with that vulnerability as well, hopefully the man will step up, be able to listen, be present, and lead with love always. So reflect on your life, on where you're at, where you're going, what you're becoming. Who have you become? Are you proud of it? Do you know there's some pain inside of you that is unaddressed? Address it. Look at it. And share it. Because it will free you. Sounds counterintuitive. Trust me, I've been there more times than not. But is the source to your greatest strength, as the quote said. To share your weakness is to make yourself vulnerable. To make yourself vulnerable is to show your strength. So let's commit as a human being to let down the guards that try to protect us because they're only hurting us. I'm not saying be completely open with every single person and tell them every little detail about your life. But those you love, those you know who care for you. And don't be scared, because you'll start to realize there's more beautiful people on the planet than you think. There's more wisdom in your partner, in your family, in your friends than you realize. But the pain of trying to be perfect and showing up a certain way that's different from you will keep you away from experiencing that beauty. And I would never want anybody to experience that. You deserve to feel so alive, so happy, so healed. And just as your essence. Most people don't even know what that is because there's 20, 30, 50 years of unaddressed pain running their lives. And they're in what I call the programs of who they think they are. But you are not what you've experienced. So many people think that's what they are. But there's a deeper essence in you. It's waiting for you to discover it, but you have to make the first step. Thank you so much for listening. It's a little bit of a shorter episode today, but I hope you feel this, and I hope it really makes you think. Thank you so much for listening. Have an amazing day. I love you. Thank you for all the support. I'm going to be putting out an episode in the next few days about Bitcoin. Totally different topic than this, but I'm excited. So I hope to see you there. Thank you again. Peace.